Hey, what's happening, all you outsiders out there? I'm Duuz-Diz-Din, and I'm coming at you with yet another review of Young Justice Outsiders. It's Young Justice's Season 3, Episode 23, a review of the episode Terminus. I do not know what that means. Like, I have no clue what Terminus means. I could look it up, but that would take effort. But let's actually get into it as the final three episodes have already been premiered and everything. So thanks, DC. But whatever, I've been behind as it is enough, so if you're still watching this, more power to you. But we pick up at the orphanage where we see the three primary Green Lanterns: Hal Jordan, Guy Gardner, John Stewart. No status on Kyle Rayner, though. But then again, enough Green Lanterns and all that good stuff, who have sealed the orphanage in a barrier to keep any of the forces of apocalypse from boom tombing away. We also see that, of all people, Elongated Man is here as well. The detective Ralph Dibney. Always good to see him and stuff. A notable detective, he does deduce that this is a little too easy. It feels like it might be a bit of a trap, but they have no choice but to move in, with Superman, Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, the Atom, as well as Icon, the heavy hitters, all moving in on the orphanage. And Superman does notice that all the captured metahuman teens are all inside. He also notices that they've activated the X-Pit. So unfortunately, a wave of the X-Pit's mind-altering and really distressing adjustments, whatever, torturous ability thingy-mabob starts just running towards them, and they get caught up in it. But they try their best to power through because we might be able to. Unfortunately, Granny activates Halo, and she starts chanting the ancient languages, and just starts sending out this wave that activates what Granny still calls the anti-life equation. I still feel a little bit shaky on that declaration. I mean, is it really the anti-life equation? I don't know. I mean, I know the anti-life equation gives Darkseid absolute control, but I can't help but feel there might be more to all of this. But the wave is sent out, and it brings all of the heroes under Granny's control, which delights Granny to no end, as she's ready to bring all under Darkseid's rule. Meanwhile, Jefferson is still reeling from everything that's happened over the course of the past few months. He's chilling out with Virgil, but he just can't take his mind off of everything. With his whole involvement with Helga Jace and how he was feeling about that, it made him feel pretty good. It made him feel like he had some control in his life after that situation with the metahuman girl. But to find out that ultimately it was all a lie, that it meant nothing, he's still lost, kind of adrift in the universe, just not knowing what his purpose is anymore. He's just lost his sense of self to a certain degree. And honestly, I can relate to that in a very depressing way, but it's unfortunate to see. Meanwhile, we also get to see that Granny is reporting on a fact that a lot of her warehouses have been hit by metahuman teenagers, who she berates over the fact that she's done so much to try to help them. Now she feels that she's kind of getting punished for giving to the metahuman community. And I love this little asides that we see of Tara, just how she's kind of thinking, the wheels in her head are turning. I really do wonder where her character is going to go by the end of this. I know I can just watch the episodes to find out, but I just have to gush over how much of a good job this writing team has done in terms of this character. Brava, brava. But we also see that Geoforce is so still thinking about Halo. He still really wants to get out there and find her. But as the report goes on and Granny talks about how she feels betrayed by everything, we see that Garfield really, really, really is all about taking her down. Like, I really have to continue to point this out because there's something very notable about just how completely enraged by Granny Goodness he really has become. It's almost an obsession with him. But we find out it's been the team who has been attacking all of her warehouses, trying their best to find Halo, but to no avail. We also get the information that, well, since Vic hasn't been able to find her, neither has, Sphere or Mother Box, she's probably way off world in an undisclosed location. But they're determined to continue to try to find her, as Dick, despite very much still reeling from the effects of the X-Pit, he really wants to get back out there and do what he can in order to try to find Halo. Unfortunately, when it comes to the situation with Connor and McGann, he's still really not pleased with everything that she was involved with. Well, McGann justifies it as, hey, we were doing our best in order to protect the ones that we love. We had to do things this way because the light was gaining too much ground, and we just had to do what we had to do to stop them by any means necessary. But Connor makes it known that it brings to the surface a lot of old feelings and a lot of old hurt, especially in regards to the situation with Calder, Nightwing, Artemis, and Kid Flash, and how they pretended like she got killed and how that really hurt the team. Not to mention the situation with McGann trying to alter Connor's memories of when she was just indiscriminately putting people into comatose states with her abilities, and how not just that, when she was still using her powers in that way and thought that Calder had killed Artemis, she basically turned him catatonic with a psychic blast. While he has forgiven McGann for a lot of this, he still hasn't forgotten. And what she's been doing right now just really, makes that makes all those hurt feelings come to the surface for him, and he feels like he might be losing McGann to those darker impulses. However, suddenly the doorbell rings, called up by the doorman, Kirby, homage to Jack Kirby, only for it to be revealed that it is none other than Vandal Savage. Now, Vandal has come to give them information on the coordinates of where to locate Granny Goodness and Halo. And when they inquire as to why he would be so forthcoming with that information, he lets it known that he simply wants them to let Granny know who sent them. Vandal is none too pleased with the moves that the forces of Apocalypse are making despite their partnership. That's what happens when you deal with the devil, dude. Sometimes he's a little deceptive. Who knew? But as the team gets ready, McGann laments the fact that she couldn't bring at the very least Tracy along for the ride. As a lot of the members of the Outsiders won't be involved on this mission. She would have liked to have Tracy along for the ride, but Dick suits up as Nightwing, ready to do what he can in order to get McGann back, despite the fact that he's recently been sick. Barbara's been worried sick about him, and she's made sure that Calder, at the very least, will keep an eye on him no matter what stupid thing he decides to do. Geoforce also lets it be known that he wants to attend as well, and he talks things over with Connor, and I never realized it before, but I guess in a way, Connor is Brion's mentor, in terms of just how angry Brion tends to get and impulsive. But, when Connor says, hey, I'm not saying you can't come along on this little excursion, we just want to make sure that you have your emotions in check for all this. But, as Nightwing walks in on this little meetup, he jokes about the fact that Connor seems like a leader, but Connor makes it known, no, that's all you, bro. But the real question is, what kind of leader do you want to be? And that's kind of been the trouble with Nightwing all these years. He's really tried his best to not be involved in the leadership role. He's tried his best to step away from it because of everything that's happened in the past. And it's very obvious he still has some PTSD from everything that's happened over the years. But the team gets ready to set up. Megan creates this psychic link for everyone so they'll keep in communications. And Connor activates the mother box that they still haven't given back to Dreamer. Like, yo, how long are you going to keep this mother box? But it's convenient, so whatevs. But they key in the coordinates that Vandal Savage gave them, and they head into the orphanage, taking out some parademons along the way. I also love Terra's reaction to the parademons. It's just like, my god, that smell! Because in a lot of continuities, parademons are in fact like people. They're more or less corpses to a certain degree, brought under the control of Darkseid. So, yeah, I can't imagine they'd smell too great. But Connor is able to ping the location of Halo, and he ultimately has the team split up. Alpha and Beta. Brion will lead Beta, which consists of him, Terra, and Forager. And he, just tells him, hey, do your best and try to keep a level head. But, Brion jokes around and makes it known that how he really feels about Connor trusting him with such an important task. He feels very honored by it, and it really shows just how deep their relationship actually managed to go and how much of an influence Connor has actually been on Brion, which is very nice. But, as Beta Team goes off to find Halo, Aquaman notices that, hey, isn't that the Javelin? Uh-oh, that's not good. The League was supposed to be mounting a rescue mission in order to get the captured metahuman teams off the orphanage. So if it's there and we're not detecting their minds mentally, that probably means they're already under the control of Apocalypse. But Tigress just lays it out, just like, well, we're just rescuing more people then. Let's have at it. As they get into place in order to just guard against a bit of an ambush. However, it's very clear that Nightwing is still suffering to a certain degree from his time in the X-Pit, much to the dismay of Aquaman. But as Jefferson leaves Virgil, we get to see Dakota City, which is still not a great place to live, but it's still very clear that Jefferson's still just not feeling it. Thinking back to the whole situation with Batman and how he really feels betrayed by them as well. Like it's almost like he's searching for a reason to be a hero again. Why he was a hero in the first place. He's lost so much of his reasoning and his willpower to actually go on and do the right thing. He's just lost in his thoughts at this point. But as Terra, Geoforce, and Forager hide out, they see a couple of the female Furies as well as Mantis also with the regiment for the most part, which shows that he is also joined the forces of Apocalypse, which was kind of always Mantis's thing in the comics. He was a force for Apocalypse despite being a part of the bug race who try to be better people for the most part, at least a good amount of them. But Mantis was always destined to go down this path. The Forager is actually really surprised that his hate would have taken him this far. And we get this nice little moment where Terra just kind of tries to talk to Bug and tell him, look, sometimes hate makes people do rash, crazy things. It doesn't really mean that he's a bad person. It just means that he's a little lost, showing that Terra Terra has so much more experience and worldly knowledge than she ever put on in any continuity. And if she betrays the team, I'm gonna be so flippin' sad. I'm serious. Don't do it, Terra. But Geoforce says, hey, he made his choice, and we have to make ours to save our own family, our hive. And so, as the female Furies, Guillotina and Lashina go rushing in with some parademons. Miss Martian manages to just easily take out Guillotina. Like, I'm sorry, Guillotina, you're probably the one of the least interesting female Furies out there, so it's kind of like whatever. So it's just kind of like, yeah, oh well. Sorry, Guillotina, you ain't really shit. But we also get to see Connor just bum rush into Lashina as well as Mantis. So, this these guys really aren't giving it the old college try, if anything else. As Aquaman and Tigress do their best to take on the other parademons in the group. We also have Nightwing taking out the various different entrances in order to keep the team safe from getting flanked, only for him to end up getting flanked by a parademon and, almost killed in a resulting explosion. And he starts to go into a bit of a fever dream for the most part and sees none other than Wally West, which, God, Wally, oh man, just every time I see him in someone's illusions or hallucination, I just kind of think, man, I miss Wally. And that's the point. We miss Wally, and the characters miss Wally as well. And he just always added this fun element to things. As, Nightwing continues to hallucinate, and Dick sees everyone in their former outfits and forms and doing the things the way they used to do things. Calder in his original outfit, Connor, Artemis, with even Wally kind of saying that, oh, the new girl, I gotta keep my eye on her. I don't really trust her. Like, all those old emotions, all those old feelings, the old vibe just suddenly starts bubbling to the surface, as well as Wally's old crush on McGann. It just really feels very interesting. Like, damn, how much I miss the OG team and the original way things were done. Just, oh man, it makes me feel a certain way. And seeing Dick envision himself as his younger self back in the day, when he used to have so much more fun with things, where there wasn't all this deception and running around, which there honestly still was. Like, that was the big crux of the conclusion for season 1. All these secrets the team was keeping from each other. Like, ever since the beginning, they've had secrets. So, but at the same time, they still had a lot of fun at times, and that was the thing I was thinking when the team was formed in order to go and rescue Halo. I'm just like, hey, isn't it most of the original team there? Just with Geoforce, Terra, and Forager. And to see this, to just like, they knew the emotions this would evoke. And I love just seeing Dick just kind of reliving this more fun time that he used to have, where the OG team would come in, just wreck the baddies, because it just seemed so clear who the good guys and the bad guys were at that time. And just seeing Dick just go in when he was short and scrappy, and just the way he used to do things just really gets me emotional almost in this moment. And when Wally goes over to the Javelin, it's just like, ooh, souvenir, and it gives Dick an idea to hack into the Javelin and just use its programming and controls in order to get these drones out and use them against the various parademons. And he's playing it like a video game, and Wally joins in, and it's just like, yes, those old emotions, the old silliness of the way they used to do things. How smart and clever and creative Dick used to be when he was younger and more free, and just, he didn't have to have people's lives in his hands, where he would just have fun with it. He was the boy wonder. He was the distraction, but he was always just so much more smarter than everyone else in the room. And I love this little moment where it plays out like a video game as they take out Mantis, Lashina, and Guillotina in this cartoony way. And it's just such a fun sequence that I just had to gush over. But Nightwing comes out of it for the most part, but we come to find out, because of the psychic link, everyone saw it as well. They all kind of lived in that moment and got to see a glimpse of Wally. The old team, the way things used to be, which Dick feels a little bit bad about. But even Will Harper pointed it out all those episodes ago, that Dick still just really misses Wally. He still is just trying to relive that past fun he used to have for this job. He's honestly at this point become so much like Batman that he's lost a lot of the reasoning behind what made his whole adventures in being a superhero fun. He used to enjoy this. He used to love this kind of stuff, beating the bad guys with his best friends. And that's what the Titans, I know we call them the team, but what the OG Titans used to be. They weren't the Justice League who were work friends. They were friends. They were a club. They were pals. They were buddies who came together because they worked so well off of each other. And that was the thing that really made them shine. How they worked together, how they enjoyed each other's company. And, Tigers tells him, hey, look, don't apologize for this. We still miss Wally, and we still hold him in our hearts. Whenever we come together, he's a part of this team as well. Oh, man, that really just... that moment got to me, it was just so beautiful. Just so beautiful. I gotta watch season 1 again or something, because just damn. But Nightwing's back and ready to go and get Granny. He's ready for action once again. As Jefferson also kind of reaches a similar epiphany when he sees his little girls, I think Anissa is dressed as Bumblebee, and I can never remember his other daughter's name. What was it? Jennifer and Anissa. I think it's Anissa who's dressed as Bumblebee, and Jennifer comes out as Black Lightning, and he really has a moment where he's just like, that's what it's all about. Just for the love of doing it, the inspiration that he could be. He had an invested interest because he liked doing what he did. He enjoyed it. He could be himself. He could let loose and just do the right thing and just inspire others to do the right thing as well. And Jefferson gets to have a nice genuine smile for the first time in a long time. He and Lynn might be divorced, but he still cares very much for his kids. Meanwhile, as the beta team ends up getting closer to the source, the X-Pit, they end up being confronted by Granny Goodness, who goes about taunting and mocking Brion in order to get a rise out of him, just talking about the fact that, oh, the little prince come to save his princess, but he's lost so much, betrayed by a confidant, lost his homeland, lost his parents. She's just really digging into everything that has gone on with Brion. And while Brion starts to show some anger, he says in the mental link that he's pretending to give in, as he wants Forager to use the mother box they have in order to free Halo, only for the controlled Martian Manhunter to come in, sever their psychic link, and for them to be subdued by Superman. And as McGann, notices this as they head off to the beta team's location, Calder makes it known that, the League is probably under the thrall of Granny Goodness, and they might have no choice but to brain blast them in a similar way that was done to Calder back in Season 2. And while Connor really has some misgivings about doing that and how the effect that it could have on McGann and the course of this, how she might lose her soul, and the fact that she's basically killing her friends and teammates. McGann is kind of willing to do that if it means saving lives. The hard choices. That should never really be a choice, but sometimes it just be that way. But Forager kind of questions, like, how are we supposed to take on the entirety of the Justice League? But Granny's like, no, you're not supposed to take them on. You're going to join them as I send out the anti-life equation all across the land and the universe, enslaving metahumans everywhere, and specifically metahumans, as we see that those who gain their abilities through technological means like the Green Lantern Corps, or through non-natural means, much like Ralph Dibny, who ingested a potion in order to gain his powers. But there are a lot of really strong superheroes out there who gain their powers through non-natural means. So I guess that takes them out of the equation, because Ralph, he wasn't born with these abilities, he gave himself these abilities. So people like them apparently will eventually die as a result of exposure to the X-Pit and the anti-life equation. Ugh, gruesome stuff. But Brion is helpless in trying to call out to Halo to get her to listen, to understand. But Granny starts to activate the X-Pit and the anti-life equation, only for her to get a psychic attack from Miss Martian as the rest of the team goes in to try to destroy the X-Pit. Unfortunately, Overlord gets the whole situation, under control by sending out the wave, the X-Pit wave that, incapacitates most of the team. And as they try to fight through it, Granny tosses out Halo, in order to get her to speak the ancient words and activate the anti-life equation, bringing everyone under the control of Darkseid. And it spreads throughout the universe, bringing all under the control of Darkseid. Like, what? That's how that episode ends. And you can have a nice little moment where Wolf is sleeping in the grotto by Kid Flash's memoriam. But, like, dude, what a way to end this episode. Just intense stuff. I don't know where we go from here, because it's just like, man, who's left? Everyone's under the control of Darkseid. What happens now? Who's left to fight against this? Because I can only think at this point that maybe Halo manages to break free of Granny's control, but that's about it. Or maybe even the Light had a contingency plan for something like this. But it was very apparent it's soon to be the Light versus the League versus Darkseid, a three-way battle for supremacy. It's gonna get very sticky, but very good stuff. I'm still wondering about the situation between Granny Goodness and Gretchen Good, how they're two separate people. But man, that moment with Nightwing and just having Kid Flash in it again, just after all this time, just having Jason Spacek, voicing Kid Flash again. I know he does the voice of Forager, but everybody kind of pulls double, triple duty with a lot of voices, and to just hear him just talking Kid Flash, just like welled something up within me, like felt like I was talking to an old friend after all this time, which essentially was what it was. But man, I miss Wally. Man, I want him to come back. He just added something to the scenes that he was in that I really do miss. But Yeah, that's the end of the line for this episode. Tell me your thoughts, theories, and just how you felt about the moments in the comment section below. Did you feel the same thing I felt when you saw that moment where we got to see the team in their original forms and hear the OG Young Justice theme playing as they fought off parademons? Like, damn, man, damn. Just that good stuff. That good stuff. But tell me your thoughts, theories, and feelings in the comment section below. If you liked this video, leave me a like. If you didn't, feel free to leave me a dislike and tell me what I did wrong in the comment section below so I might better myself for future videos. Subscribe and hit the bell icon, that way you never miss out on another Young Justice episode review. And if you want to find me on social media, just Google Duuz-Diz-Din. I am everywhere, for better or but usually for worse. And until the next video, just remember that sometimes you just kind of long for the past, for a simpler time when things made sense, and old feelings just come to you like an old friend, lost but not forgotten. Until next time, I'm Duuz-Diz-Din, and it's high time I went to bed. Bye bye.